Welcome back. This is M-Dog, and this is going to be episode 2 of our new low-level account. Let's do some fishing. So last episode, we actually got our first feeder rod set up, even with the bells on there and everything. So one thing I just realized, guys, and if you are low-level playing this game, there was a patch update today, and night crawlers are in stock at Mosquito. They might be in stock at Winding too. I haven't checked there, but the significant thing about this is normally or often just purchasing 30 gets out of stock. You could still buy 300, but at low level, who has 176 silver to pay for bait? But 1780, while I know that sounds really expensive, I will tell you that sometimes night crawlers will just catch very good, really good fish, basically is what I'm trying to say. In fact, we're going to go fish at a spot right now that is a nice spot here at Mosquito. We will have our one feeder and at least fish with one float. My goal today is probably to try to earn enough money in a quick amount of time to maybe snag one or two of those sets of night crawlers. We also do want to make a beeline for getting our second feeder set up. I don't know that we'll be able to catch enough here in the second episode to do all of those things, but it is hard to pass up on night crawlers when they're suddenly available at this point. So we're going to a place on the map, it's a little further over. This is sort of about as far away from camp as you can get on this map. It's actually right there, isn't it? Just past this. This is another good spot, but this one's sort of a hidden little alcove here that is a nice place to fish at. So it looks like the coordinates are 3549. And let's get our feeder out. We've got worms on there. Guess we'll stay with worms for now. So let's clip at 8 meters. Clipping is a way that you can control how far you're going to cast. If you hold control and hit plus or minus, which are the same buttons you use to change the depth without control pressed, that's how you change the depth on float. So let's go 8, and we're just going to cast straight. We're going to, even though it's going to be like in these weeds, it might be just past these weeds. I don't know. Let's see where it ends up. Okay, it's right in front of those weeds. And I am thinking this is going to be a pretty nice spot to fish in. And again, I sort of wish we had those night crawlers, but for now we're just going to have to deal with it. And yeah, for right now, let's just keep worms on this one too. Our float is at 1 meters, and I will probably just kind of cast this one straight in that direction too. And let's see if we can't catch some fish. Oh, that's a little too deep, it looks like. So it's not quite 1 meter, at least in that spot we're fishing in right now. If we back that down to like, I don't know, 0.9 maybe, or 90 centimeters, that might be about right. Let's see how that looks. So clipping is a really good way to, if there's a specific spot you're wanting to fish in, it's a really good way to ensure that that happens. And whenever possible, you do want to have your third rod out, you know, if you have one available. It's just a real bummer to be using a bamboo rod for now, but you know, we might catch 1 or 2 fish on there, and at that point it'll be worth it. So let's see what we're catching in this spot. I think we'll catch a wide variety of fish in this spot, and I think it will be decent. Ooh, that's a tench. I think it'll be decent sized fish, at least I hope. If we put a little bigger hook, and if we get night crawlers, I think that's where this spot will really shine. But we'll see. When it gets to be evening, we'll probably go back to, or even late afternoon, we'll probably go back to that the hole we were fishing in sort of right in front of the dock at the end of the last episode. Try to catch some white bream. But during the day here, I think it's worth it to be up here. Again, in terms of the map, we're here at B7. Coordinates are 3549, and to me, this is a pretty nice place to fish at. And you know, even with one feeder out, we're getting so far a really nice bite rate. Is that going to be a sleeper? Yeah. And we just want to see those bottom points go up. Even if you're a little higher level, it's nice to find spots where you're getting a good bite rate. This is not a good bite rate, by the way. Oh, there's a fish on there. Or is it snagged? What's going on? It's not even a marker, but it was enough experience to hit level 5. So it was a tench just kind of nibbling at our bait, I guess. Let's give that another try and see if we get some more nibbles. I don't know what's going on with this one. Bamboo rods make me so angry. I'm trying not to be angry about this thing, but they really do make me very angry. But I'm a little stubborn about actually buying a second decent float rod. Maybe that's what we should do. Just depends on how long it's going to take us to actually get the second feeder. Let's give it a little bit of time out here and just kind of see where we stand on silver. Yeah, that close, we may actually be able to see the fish like we did last time when it comes up to eat our bread. So we've got worms, and bread. I want to get that bait pack because you know, to be able to use things like before you get night crawlers, or if you can't afford night crawlers, or if they go out of stock again. I think bark beetle larvae would serve a similar function in this spot. To be honest, there's a gibble. That's what we want to see. Just lots of nice fish. Sounds like this might be a little heavier fish. It's not too terribly bad. Is it a sleeper again? I should have checked. I mean, it probably doesn't really change the bait we use, but it'd be interesting to see if there are any orders right now. Like white bream order. You know, if there was a white bream order, we would definitely try to fill that one from that spot. If you weren't here for the last episode, right off the dock here on the other side of the map towards this 5-meter hole. I'm not sure we were actually reaching it, but at least towards it. Just using worms, you can get some nice white bream and such. Now we're going to get in that post-noon, a little bit hotter part of the day. Let's see how things look. There's a fish on there, kind of taking it away slowly, trying to be sneaky. And as a reminder, we've got a size 14 hook, size 16, and now we even have a nibble on the bread, it looks like. I think this is actually, yeah. Another gibble. Those rusty hooks, though. Oh, wow. If we actually caught a fish right there, you would definitely see it. Ooh, that was a pretty good cast for a bamboo rod. I don't know, maybe that's a tench again. It's something that's just... Let's just pull. Sleeper. Float fishing's up to 4.7. This is a nice fish. Look at that crucian. 671 gram crucian. So we're at 1.8 in bottom fishing. More of those, please. Yeah, we may have to price a cheap telestick while we're waiting on our other. It is not a bad thing to have a second decent telestick, because there will be spots, even while you're leveling up at a low level, that are just end up being really good for float fishing. You know, small fish, trophy versions of small fish are coming out in high numbers, and you'll end up wanting to have at least one or two float options, even if you, like me, do a lot of feeder fishing. So I will not be disappointed if we spend just a few silver on getting another float rod. Picked it up a little bit too soon. You can continue to hit R to see when the fish actually gets on, but with the new biting mechanic, sometimes it can take a while, and sometimes even just picking up will mess it up. So you might as well just put it back down, and typically real soon a fish will actually get on now that we know that one's been nibbling, but I guess we could have scared it away. We'll see. All right, I think this is worth pulling up. A little gibble. It's not even a marker. The only thing that really does for us is it levels up our float fishing a little bit. And that could be good for an order here, though. Sometimes Mosquito has decent orders that you don't actually need marker fish for. They certainly don't sell for much, though. So far, when it's been moving like that and we pull it, we have kept the fish on. Not this time, though. I think it was just moving a little too slow. But float fishing has not been as bad as I was anticipating. I mean, really your goal here is, again, to get multiple feeders out to try to get to 25% bottom feeder fishing. That can feel like it's going to take a while, but once you have multiple rigs in the water, it starts to happen quick. I mean, we're getting points every fish. You can see the fish over here with this bamboo run. Just taking the bait away. Yeah, I'd really like to see what this spot is like with night crawlers, but even until we can do that, I might get some of those bark larvae. Which means we'll probably just buy that bait kit. It comes with 30 of the bark larvae, but it comes with other stuff you need too. We've been unsuccessful here a couple times on the float. That might be a marker. Not quite. fish on. It's a small boy. He wasn't pulling the rod at all, or the bells, but he was moving the line, so I could tell he was there. I don't know if this spot would continue to be good at night or not. It probably would be, but I think we'll go move over to the dock once it gets to be evening. I think we're going to start putting points into fishing with a feeder rod. To me, this is maybe the best thing you can do. We'll always try to maybe hold 1 point in case we decide to do something weird like ground bait or something else. But these first points into feeding with a fisher rod means that fishing with a feeder rod means that we'll have more casting distance and accuracy as well as control of the fish, which is all important. So. I think that's fast enough. Nope. Wow. What size hook do we have? 14. That means 16. What's the first thing we open up with float fishing? Luminous and then bolo. Okay, just for funsies, let's put maggots on this line. See if we get a similar bite type and speed with maggots. Oops. Shoot. I am really... Float fishing is just about to do me in. Once it goes sideways, it's worth trying to pull it up. One of the fun parts of fishing at Quarry Lake is casting in really close to the shore like this. But the water is so clear. You can see the fish come right up to your bait. We've got something nibbling on our feeder line there. There you go. Oh, wow. So irritating. Come here, my little gibble. So let's see what maggots caught. A little gibble. Alright, we'll stay here a little bit longer. And then we'll go see what the cafe looks like and how that front dock is doing. Just looks so messy with all the lines sitting in the water like that. It's chub. It's a fish I'm used to catching on spin fishing. Although you can get some nice chub, especially at winding rivulet, on grasshoppers and even maggots. Is that a little rough? Yeah. It is getting to be that time of day, I guess. Well, we're going to have to try this float because it's pretty much stretched it as far as it can go. I think we're going to stay here a little longer. I'm just realizing that there's a perch. That this is like, if there's going to be a hot time of the day in terms of fishing, other than early in the morning, this is probably it. So we might as well stay and see if we can catch some fish here for a minute more. Perch. We are catching some little tench here. I suppose if we had cheese, we might be able to do some damage with tench. Although they have all been very small so far, right? They'll be small until they're not, and then they'll give us a run for the money on our little, oh, you can mark stuff as favorites now. Interesting. Our little 5 kilo rod and 3 kilo reel. Maximum number of fish caught in one day. I just was thinking that it might have been a really tiny rough on there. In fact, was not. The downside of this right now, and this is the only thing we could do to maybe try to change it, would be hook sizes and maybe baits, but the percentage of markers we're getting is fairly low right now. This spot can certainly do a lot better than that with the right circumstances. We're going to need to get really lucky on cafe orders to make much silver from this fishing here right now. Look how that's just jumping the line and the rig. There we go. Might be a tench. Yep. Still not quite a marker though. And I don't know that they really, I don't know if they have cafe orders for undersized tench. Look at that float is just bouncing away from us. Be nice if we could get both of these fish in here. Oh, disaster. I guess there's not a fish on our feeder yet. Again, unless it's a rough. Let's really stop that bite though, so let's check. Nope. There we go. What we did there is we pulled it too quick. Even though the game recognized that the fish was on, it wasn't fully on yet, and so it just stripped him right out. Here's the camp at Mosquito if you want to do some crafting. A lot of the tools and stuff you need to do crafting is here. Campfire is the main one. You do need matches and wood to start a fire before you can craft on a campfire. So let's go ahead and cast this out. So hold control and hit minus to take the clip off. Hold it down till the clip is off. And let's just do a full cast here. That looked like a pretty nice cast. I think that is in the full, not the 5 meter hole if I had to guess. See what we catch there. And very importantly, let's see how we're doing on the cafe orders. This is the way to make money early. If we catch some rough, but they've got to be a little bit bigger. Nowhere near on that one. Ooh, we do have this one. And look at this. So we've got 2 that are not markers. That means they're not worth any silver. So we get 3.6 silver for those 2 gibbles. That's a great deal. We have to catch a lot more crucian to get close to that. A bream order, but we need 3 over a kilo. That's going to be tough on our gear. Let's hope that is a white bream. If it's a white bream, it's a decent one. Yeah, you see how much experience we just got for that? This might be the thing to do. Especially at early or yeah, at night here. We'll see if that white bream's worth any silver though. That's going to be the question. What is that? It's a gibble. Yeah, again, just pulled it too fast. With the way the new mechanic works, you just can't be as on top of it as you used to be. And that's fine. I just have to learn to be more patient. So let's see by price. Yeah, that white bream is worth 4 silver by itself. You see that? Even like a gibble down here is 0.4 silver. These Chinese sleepers aren't bad. The bigger one's 2.2. 671 crucian 1.9. But those white bream, I mean, that's kind of, let's see, where are we at total here? That's 15 silver. That's not bad. But we just want to get, we honestly just want to get our second feeder as quick as we can. We want to be able to have 2 of these at least into this hole. You see that? Again, fish just not fully on there. I'm getting really bad at that. We're just gonna have to start being a lot more patient. I want to test out those larvae. Let's see how much they cost. $4.90 for 30. Or we can spend $11.90 and also get casters, maggots, and bloodworms. We don't really need the worms, but the worms are the cheapest part of that anyway. Casters are nice. At certain times, maggots are always nice. Bloodworms can also be good. It's a good hook, like on float. We might get a little better, higher quality fish on our float rod if we use bloodworms in some spots compared to the regular worms. Just depends on what's biting and all that. Did our float move entirely? Or is that where it's been? I'm trying to decide if we just want to cash out here and get some stuff. We could save the crucians. And that's pretty much it. Everything else, like, there's not going to be... When's the next cafe order going to come up? This is the other thing you can do, guys, is see... So in just under 3 hours... Oh, perch, this one's about to change. Yeah, that's changing very soon. Let's see what the new order is. Let's wait on that. It's really surprising that we've gone this long without a bite on the feeder. And that's actually... we could have that a little deeper if it's going to be way out there. That's probably not the best place for the float rod to be unless we're going to fish at a lower depth. Haven't mentioned it yet in this series, but you can always check weeklies to see what the most active baits are for different species. So someone caught a really nice white bream off of worm. Unfortunately, if a species is at multiple places that I know of, you can't just look at the weekly on the one lake. Are any of these recent? So we do have one back in March on red worm for white bream, but mostly it is worm. And the other thing you saw on there is pearl barley. One of the things that I usually like to do is try to make a beeline for pearl barley. That means getting to 20%. So that is, of course, crafting a lot of bread. But it's worth doing. Back in the day, you would level up your bait harvesting with a shovel. And although I suppose you still could do that some, it seems to me that the way the shovel mechanics works in that it takes all of your energy and then for one dig, but you have a chance of gathering multiple things. The way that works now, it seems like shoveling is actually better at end game or when you have your bait harvesting leveled up a bit, so you have a chance of getting those rare baits. And not as effective as a way to level up anymore. That's what we want, but we want some more actual marker ones. That is going to be some good silver if we could get on a string of catching some of those marker white bream. Really slow on the float, surprises me. We could lower the depth a little bit. We could also try We could try bread or maggots, but to me, let's go to 150. To me, at night, worms is, or, you know, the more meaty baits is usually the way to go more than bread. Oh, that's too deep, isn't it, for that spot? It's leaning over. Let's see if we can handle 1.25 right here. Yeah, that looks healthy. So now we know we're pretty close to the bottom there. 1.5 meters was sitting on the bottom. 1.25 looks fine. Come on, white bream. Okay, so let's check the new cafe order. Actually don't really see what the new one is. Is it another perch order that came up? The perch order was replaced by a perch order? I think that was the case. Oh, we should do this Chinese sleeper order. So let's do by weight. 1, 2, 3, 5.7 silver. Not bad. So now we're up to 14 silver and we haven't even sold our fish yet. Finally, we're getting a bite over here. We don't want to mess that bite up, because if it's a white bream, it's a valuable bite. Let's make sure it gets good on there. This one we can mess up. That fish may be in there now. It's got the slack line. But again, there's no harm in waiting another couple minutes, then we'll check it. One would sort of assume that this is a Chinese sleeper or a rough, given that it's overnight and we're fishing with worms, but we'll see. Well, maybe we'll see. Who knows if we'll actually see. Okay, it's been a long enough, no more nibbles. Let's check this. Yep, no fish. So maybe that fish is still working on it. Maybe it's gone. Well, I don't know. Oh, no, dang it. Okay, so Chinese sleepers, 7 silver. Chub, 0.10. We're going to hold on to those. Gibbles, 1.1 silver. Perch, 0.09 silver. Rough, 0.03. It's probably worth holding on to that in case the order comes up. Tench, 0.35. White bream, 4.36. That was the most expensive fish we've ever sold. And now we're up to 27.32 silver. Let's see how much another reasonable telescopic rod would be. Can't believe I'm even considering this, but given how slow it's going, this might be worth it. Float fishing start, that would be a nicer setup. But I think we could get one for a lot cheaper than that. The cheapest one we could get for feeder is 37. We're not that far away, so that's what makes you kind of hold on and say, a little more fishing and we might be there. All right, so the cheapest one we could get is 19. Yeah, we're not going to do that. If it's 19, I'd rather just suffer through either fishing with 2 or using the bamboo. All right, there we go. I'm going to let it sit. Alright, it should be on. Yeah, it is. I say we just keep fishing here until white bream stop biting. That's a marker. Now that one, the first one was a nice fatty one. That one was probably, if the other one was worth 4 silver, that one's probably worth 1.5 silver or something like that. We'll see though. Let's see if we can catch this fish. Ooh, that's good news. I think it's on there. Yeah, the line's moving. Yeah, if the bite rate stays like this, this will be a nice way to get our next feeder rod financed. I'm not sure that as the day gets a little later though, if they're going to... Oh, that wasn't... Yeah, that's a marker. Nope, not quite. It sure is close though. Come back here. Is that too deep for that spot? Nope, that's perfect. And we might as well just suffer through this. That's a pretty cool spot for that. All right, let's see how much that white bream was worth. Yep, less than I thought. Almost 1 silver. Is any other orders going to change while we're on here? Oh, could we go for frog? How much? 1.6 silver is all it's worth. It's probably not worth it. I think you can see the fish down there, can't you? Yeah. Oh, it just got scared away. That's cool, though. Let's do that again. Yeah, if the white bream spot slows down too much here as the day goes on, we'll go back to that other spot or find another spot. As annoying as it is to buy more bread, we probably should. Keep working on leveling that up every time we play. Let's see what we're catching here. Is that a perch? See, I think float fishing is better in other spots, but I don't want to give up on this white bream spot until I know that we're not going to get more good ones. You see that fish down there? I think it's on. Yeah. So we maybe should move. This is going to be tiny. I think that might be just better at night. That looks like a little gibble, but it could have been a roach. We have not seen that many common roach, which is weird. Looks like a gibble to me. It's a nice gibble. That is a 1.87 silver gibble. Oh, I love catching bream, but we are just not set up for it. We don't have pearl barley unlocked. All right, it's decision time between 11.9 and the kit. How much are casters? So that'd be 4.3 plus 4.9. So it's 9 something. Plus you're getting bloodworms. Basically you're getting the maggots for free. Because worms are already free and maggots only cost $2.40. But we'll go through those maggots so fast. So it's ultimately it's a savings, but I'm just going to get the bark beetle larva for now. And save the silver. Let's go back to our other spot for a little bit longer. See if we can't catch enough fish, good fish, to sort of push us into a better spot. I'm really curious. A lot of times bark beetle larva, I feel like, might give you a little higher chance of markers. So let's test that theory in this spot we were in before. We kind of saw what the fish were like before. Let's see what they look like now. The other thing you would want to test is maybe slightly increasing your hook size. You want to be careful in this size gear. You don't want to go crazy with hooks getting too big, because you will end up losing more money than you're gaining on messing your stuff up. Alright, so we're going to try bark beetle larva. Let's go back to a clip of 8. And we'll just use worms. Actually, it's daytime. Let's switch to bread. Let's give bread a fair try here. And then we'll put, oh, that's too deep. We'll put worms on this one. So maybe 0.8. All right, let's see what we can do here. Some early morning fishing. The bark beetle larvae are already getting some bites. Whoa, our bobber is just actually gone over here. Hey, there's a gibble. I like it. See how slow bread is on the float. Oh, there we go. It's getting a nibble. Man, worms is killing it right here. Go bamboo. I can't tell, guys. Is there any slack at all? I guess not. Bark beetle larva so far has done nothing here, although it looks to me like there's a fish nibbling. And this float's about to drive me crazy. Okay. So fish number 1 on bread. That's a nice one. Yeah, more of those, please. Maybe it's worth the weight on bread. Maybe we'll get a little better fish than we were with the worms there. Really slowed down on this, didn't it? Let's put this out a little farther. while we've got a second, if you hit escape and go to settings, you can go to control, and you can set up things like on my mouse for mouse button for putting your rod back in your backpack, for putting your rod down on the ground on a rod pod. I have different mouse buttons set up for those so I can do it without reaching to my keyboard. Alright, here's the first fish on bark beetle larva. Let's see if it's worth it. Alright, first fish, no. Let's try this again. If that's all we're going to catch, we'll switch back to worms for now. Whoa, folks. It's almost too much for this bamboo rod to handle. 703 gram gibble. We almost snapped the line there. Bark beetle larva might just be too slow here. Goodness. Yeah, it's not going to work on bark beetle larva here. Let's try bread. What I really want to try here is night crawlers, but we cannot afford the night crawlers just yet. Out of curiosity, if this fish ever actually bites. I think it's just like so much nibbling on bread, it drives you crazy. I'm going too fast here. Oh, it is on. Okay, we're good. Nope, it's not on. I knew I was going too fast. I've put a lot of hours in this game. A lot of hours bottom fishing. If I'm not thinking about it, I will do what I did in the old days, which is when those bells start ringing, I pick it up. It's time to catch a fish. I think what we'll do though is let's try bark beetle larva on the float just to see if it's just as slow with float as well. Alright, there we go. Maybe that's the winning combination here right now, is do float on the bread on the feeder. But we'll know pretty quick if we're getting any kind of nibble at all on the bark beetle larva. It's not looking like it. That fish made it pretty far away. This is a legitimately decent fish for our rig here. Is that a giant crucian? Oof. Over a kilo. Crucians are pretty fish now. They look better than they used to, I think. Where is this float? Am I just not seeing it? Maybe I just didn't see it. Alright, so we're set on our feeder right now using bread. Let's go back to worms. Let's try maggots for a minute, just for funsies. This is looking like this is going to be a longer video, but I'm okay with that. Once again, float is gone. These feather floats are terrible for my eyes. I just don't see them good. Maggot's pretty slow too. Maybe it's that spot, not just the bait. Oh, there goes something. There we go. Yeah, we're catching nice little fish here off the bread. Brutal. Float came right back up as we grabbed it. So we've caught some pretty nice gibbles here. And one really big crucian. I think the orders right now are for crucians, but we're getting more gibbles. They're jerking that bait around at the bottom of that feeder. There we go. Yeah, it's just like crucian after crucian, or crucian and gibble with the bread. It's just crucian gibble is what I'm trying to say. Which is fine. I really like the placement of the float on this cast, but all right. I think the downside of bread may be that we're limiting our chances of catching a tench. So with worms, we were sometimes bringing in tench, although they hadn't so far been markers. You know, every time I don't catch a fish on this bamboo rod, there's a part of me that just wants to set it down, just like not even throw it back out there. But the good side of bread is it seems to be catching a higher percentage of markers for us. And it's at this point free bait basically, because we're going to make so much bread as we level up bait casting. Sorry, harvesting bait. Bait casting is something entirely different. Ugh. Playing with me. We're at 9.7 on float fishing. And 5.9 on bottom. Ooh, there we go. Little perch. That might be a marker. Yeah. Might be the first perch we've caught that was a marker instead of an undersized fella. Ooh, yeah. Is that a tench? The value of worms. Gibble. Alright, so this spot, again, is doing pretty well. Let's go to Cottage Pond and get some free worms real quick, and then we'll come right back. Let's see if it's been long enough. I did this before, right as I was about to start recording. I went and got some free worms, but I think it's been long enough. We probably can get more. Yep. Okay. Right back to Mosquito. While we're looking at stuff, we'll see if we can't get another white bream or two as the afternoon gets on. We can eat for free. Let's put our rod down first, though. Hopefully you noticed what happened there. We still have our clip on, so the cast was not able to go full distance. As we put skill points into bottom fishing, our cast will get slightly longer. That is a quick bite we're getting. Do not believe that is a white bream, though. Perch. Okay. Let's go get our free food. Again, once every 24 hours here at Mosquito, you can eat for free. Later, you will be spending money on food and drinks and all that, but for now, we don't need to. So we're 2 out of 6. Probably not going to fill that trophy this time, unfortunately. We do have the perch trophy, the perch cafe order for 15 silver. That is a huge boon, and again, these orders are going to be your friend. That Crucian order would be nice. I just don't know that we're going to get it. So that puts us up at 38 silver and 3 silver for that Crucian. All right, there's nothing else we're going to finish here order-wise. So that puts us at 56. And before I get any other crazy ideas, let's go ahead and start putting our second feeder together, because it's just absolutely the right option at this point. And we're going to do the cheaper one this time. Or do we want to do the exact same one? I like when they're the same length. We'll do that. And then do we already have a second spark? Hold everything. First of all, I need to go catch this fish. Oh, you know what? This isn't the right depth. It's a little fella. the right species though. And what size hook is that? 14? And we have what? 3 kilo line on there to match the reel. Alright, so we have a second. No, we don't have another. Oh, we do, guys. I forgot about this. Take the reel off of our spinning rod. Put it on here. We need to buy some more line for it. So now we're going to have 2 feeders and 1 telestick shortly. Alright, let's go get the line. I think we've got enough to get the line. We may have enough to fully set it up. The only thing is, how expensive will the line be? $4 silver. Oh yeah, we're going to be fine. Sinker. I think that 30 gram is fine. And then bite alarm. Perfect. And we almost have enough. Maybe we can test it out next time. We're not that far off from also being able to try out night crawlers with 2 feeder rods. This is pretty exciting. So we're getting there. Again, those cafe orders just all of a sudden push you over the edge. And you've got more silver than you realized you were going to have. We got to make some room here. I don't really know. Maybe we just back this up like this. But we need a hook. We absolutely need a hook. All right, let's go 93% now that we're casting farther and further. I mean, that is just plenty far. I could maybe see trying a size 12 hook, living on the edge a little bit. We'll see. Just curious if it will increase the chances of those white breams being markers a little more often. Size 12 would be 0.9 silver. Man, these hooks are cheap, but they're also terrible. So these are 1 star, 1.5 star, 2 star, 2 star. Let's go with this 2 star, size 12, 5 silver. It is worth it. Start increasing the rating of your hooks as soon as you can. All right, we'll see what this does, having a little bit bigger hook on there. All right, a little bigger hook, a little bigger fish. There's a perch. Sorry, I was dealing with the work text real quick, but I'm fine. All right, so I was just going to give it a couple more minutes here, just seeing the difference in what we're getting here as it sort of gets to be nighttime. I'm hoping that we do start seeing the white bream again, but we'll see. And then next time we fish, we will get to start getting a little more aggressive with 2 feeders. Whatever spot we fish in, we'll certainly start to see the benefit of having a second feeder in the water and then just focusing on one float rod. I picked it up too soon. I do want to try to test night crawlers, see if it's worth it. Like, that's a lot of silver, 17 silver. You know, at this lake, we'd have to catch some pretty nice fish to make it worth to fish, you know, with night crawlers. And it might be better when we get upgraded gear so that we can get a little more aggressive on hook size. But I'm just curious about it. So we may experiment with that. We still have bread on there. So far I haven't really been catching marker white bream during the day. That might be a perch. If that's a white bream, it's a nice one. It looks like perchy to me though. We are suddenly catching tagged perch. Woo. And that, my friends, is a regular bream. Wow. It would be really challenging to get a big bream in on this size rigs. It can be done, but it's a little tense with how much weight and pull they can have initially. And that is scary. Okay, let's don't be catching common carp here. Let's don't do that. There's a sleeper. Perch again. Alright, if it's going to switch back to white bream, it really should soon here. Perch should start going to bed, and the white bream should start waking up. We're about to have a fish on that line, I guarantee you. All right. There we go. It's about that time of night. And that was a marker on the slightly bigger hook. So let's see if that perch is worth anything. No, less than a silver. I mean, it's not bad. You know, that bream, it's barely a marker, so that hurts it. But they go up exponentially. I mean, if you get some decent bream, that's another way to make good silver. But our gear is really small to target big bream at this point. It's possible, though. Again, once you get crafting up to, what did we say harvesting baits needed to be at? 20%? Yeah. So we're at 2%. But if you get up 20%, pearl barley does start to open that door up. Both worms and then also pearl barley at that point would start catching a pretty decent rate of bream potentially. We got a runner. I think that's going to be a small perch, I believe. Yeah. Whew. So annoying. Now I just want to have a third feeder, you know? It's just float fishing. Once you get into feeder fishing, start trying to target fish, it's hard to go back to watching a float bounce up and down. So this has possibly got a fish on there. I'm a little curious. It's not moving, but the tension looks like a fish is on. So I'm going to test it. Yeah. It's just a really small one. Could be a rough. Typically worms will catch rough. I've been surprised that we haven't seen more rough. Let's see if that's what this is. Oh, it's a sleeper. It's a tiny sleeper wandering out into the middle of the lake. Whatever that is, it's just head banging. I think that did it. Oh, maybe not. Alright, now it's running. Ooh, yeah. That's what we like to see. This might be another bream. We hope it's a white bream, because if it is, it's a fatty one. But it's probably a small bream. Listen to that thing. Does not want to come in. Alright, there we go. Alright, the answer is neither. It's a tench. Another money fish. Got to put your friction brake back down. You don't want to put a feeder down with your friction brake that high, especially with this small a gear on. No telling what's going on over here with our float. Let's see if that tench was big enough to actually, yeah, 1.69. Look at the sleepers, man. Those Chinese sleepers add up if you get into a bed of them that are good size like that. All right, let's see if we're getting close on anything, just out of curiosity. Not really. We sold all our crucians. We weren't going to get that anyway. Yeah. It'll be nice next time we play. We'll have a full, fresh set of orders to deal with. There's a white bream. Nice. Very nice. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and wrap this video up. Although, I'll tell you a little secret. I'm enjoying this so much, I may go ahead and record another video here tonight. We'll see. All right, let's sell all these fish, though. Fresh start. 8 more silver. We're up to 11.31. Maybe we'll catch one more fish before we get off. We'll see here. We'll take a little break so that cafe orders can do a little bit of moving, and then yeah, maybe we'll make another video. This is fun. Once you get a couple feeders going, I mean, the level of fun for me at least goes up exponentially. And I'm kind of wanting to do that night crawlers experiment, and also start trying to, by hitting cafe orders and all that, just start seeing if we can't. That's a nice white bream. See, this is what we're talking about. See if we can't decide if we want to get a third feeder, or maybe start saving up for a really nice feeder set. Maybe even that even that combo pack. All right. 2.97 more silver. We're up to 14.28. We are looking good. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with the long videos, but that's what these leveling videos sometimes just have to be, just to get some decent fishing in. All right, see you next time.